Hello guys, this is Toki Toki and today we have a very special episode because today is the day that I've been telling you since a few weeks back. We're reviewing something outside of the mechanical keyboard which this channel has started and built upon. Today, we are reviewing IEMs, your in-ear monitors. So this is the Kiwi Ears Dolce, sent over by the good fellows over at Kiwi Ears. So before I start my review on this stuff, let me tell you why I agreed to review on audio equipments and why in the future probably I would also agree to review other equipments that are related to my personal hobbies and passion. Alright? So you all know me as Toki Toki, keyboard content creator, but in reality I do so much more. I'm a full-time pediatrician. I am also a full-time newborn photographer and a newborn photography workshop instructor where I've started my workshop here in the Philippines. It's called Newborn Academy for Photographer Philippines. I love to play table tennis. I was an athlete during college, and going back in college, that is where my passion for audio started as well. Back in my college days, before I went into car racing, my first hobby was car audio. And I kind of dug deep into that hobby because I went and joined in competitions. And it was over a year of car audio stuff and hobby before I decided to stop because I realized that in the audio scene, in the car scene, money is a big factor. I felt at that time that if you wanted to have this good audio setup, this quality audio setup, and if you wanted to compete in the scene, you really need to have a lot of money. And at that time, it wasn't feasible. So I decided to stop on that hobby, but that doesn't mean that I didn't love audio, because when I built my home setup, my work setup during the pandemic, a huge component of my workstation, my editing station, would be the audio. I felt that it was one of my stress release from the daily hustles of work, from the daily hassles of photography. So I did an audio setup, and my current audio setup is that of an Edifier S2000 Pro, powered through I know that the S2000 Pro doesn't need a DAC, but I am using a DAC, the iFi Hip DAC, to run my audio towards the Edifier S2000 Pro. And recently I also purchased the Philips SHP 9500, if I'm not mistaken. So that is my headphones that I use in times where I can max out the sounds of my setup because my family are right here with me sleeping near my workstation. So that's the picture. So at least you know my gear, you know my inclination towards audio. And I think it's a good move for the guys over at Kiwi Ears to entrust one of their products for me for an honest review. Now guys, for those of you who will be listening, this is not gonna be technical. I will leave that for you to research on it. A lot of information can be found on the internet. This review is going to be based on my experience, my preference, and what I think about the product is. So if you like those kind of thoughts, then you came to the right place. Let's go in and discover what this Kiwi Ears Dolce is all about. So this right here, guys, is the Kiwi Ears Dolce. It's packaged quite nicely. Considering that this is an earphone, an IEM at the price of around $25, you wouldn't expect much. So let's open the box and see what's inside. So really nice packaging. I love the color. I love the simple box. Very simplistic, minimalistic. And again, as you've known from my keyboard reviews, I am much more into the experience, much more into how it works rather than how it looks, all right? So opening it up, you see here the IEMs themselves, and it is marked nicely with a left and right marking. These look good, not too flashy. It looks okay, not super good. I've seen other IEMs that looked way cooler, but no complaining on that department. Again, we consider the price point. I love the price point. In this box, you would see the wire that comes with the IEMs, and a lot of reviews would tell you that this is not the best type of wire. And again, for me, for the price, it works well, it does its job, so no complaints there whatsoever. And in them are different sizes of earpieces that you can interchange depending on the size of your ear, and it's nicely made. It fits nicely. I love the material. The thing I like here the most is that it has labels for left and right, which you won't mistake or interchange them accidentally. At first, when I was assembling these IEMs and their wires, I kind of made it, inserted it the wrong way, so it looked weird at first. But once you get into it, once you know how to figure it out, then it becomes easy. So this is how it should look like when attached. So it's my first time wearing IEMs like this, and I look kind of stupid the first time I wore it. I had to ask my friends who are users of IEM how to properly place it. But this would loop around your ear, and it will be oriented as such for the left ear, and like this for the right ear. And ideally, I think this should be running off the back of your neck, but you can also wear them in front, whichever is more comfortable for you. All right, so let's discuss the sound quality of these things. Prior to this, I had a budget IEM or budget earphones. These are the SoundMagic E11C. So SoundMagic E11C. It costs a little bit more than the Dolce. And at the time that I bought this, about 2 or 4 years ago, these were like the best bang for the budget IEMs that you can find in the internet. They sound good. They do sound good. I love the separation. I love the clarity. But compared to the Dolce, I must say that these things sound way better. These things surprised me that you can produce an IEM at such price point, which sounds really good. Surprisingly good. Upon seeing a lot of reviews, reading a lot of reviews about this IEM, they say that these things are have a V-shaped tuning, and I have to agree. When you say V-shaped tuning, it means that there's emphasis on the highs and the lows, with a little bit emphasis, with not so much emphasis on the mids. And I find this IEMs to be exactly like that. There's very clear definition and distinction on the highs. The lows are surprisingly good. When using it with the hip DAC, I had to turn off the X bass. So the hip DAC has an X bass function wherein it gives some to your lows and your bass. I had to turn the X bass on with my other earphones and my edifier and my Philips XHP 9500 because it gives a little bit more juice on my lows and my bass. With the X bass on this one, it tends to be a little bit muddy. The definition of the lows and the bass became a little bit indistinct. But when you turn off the X bass on the hip DAC, boy, do they sound really good. Soundstage is okay. Of course, compared to my open ears headphones, the SHP 9500, and compared to the Edifier S2000 Pro, those things would have a better soundstage. But the separation of these things, the separation of instruments and voice is really nice as well. The only thing that I think will not suit for me with the Dolce is I feel that this is more brightly tuned. The sound quality is more bright compared to my liking. And if you see my list of equipments that I've mentioned, I think my listening quality, my listening characteristic favors that more of a warmer tuning system. So with that being said, I've used this extensively over a week before making this review to give you a very good idea of how I feel about them. And for casual listening, so the genre of sound that I usually listen to would be R&B, OPM songs, original Filipino music songs, tending towards more on the acoustics and more on some bossa nova songs. I feel that sometimes upon long sessions of listening, maybe around an hour or more, the bright tuning and the V-shaped tuning kind to be a little bit fatiguing to my ears. But again, that's on very, very long sessions of continuous listening on high volumes. On normal sessions, on normal relaxation and chill sessions, I really love them. Very clear sound. The highs and the lows are really good. I would like to have more emphasis or more juice, if that's what you call it, a more juice on the mids and the voice and the vocals. But yeah, it's what it's been described in the reviews and the tuning of these earphones. I really enjoy them. Really nice. So at $25, you really couldn't complain. These are awesome set of IEMs. I am really thankful that Kiwi Ears sent me this product because it is my first time hearing about the company. Although based on my research, they are big in the audio scene right now in the United States. And it shows this product, if this were a representation of what they're capable of and what they can do, it shows that it's a really good company. And I'm really excited. I hope to review more of their IEMs experience, their more premium tuning, more premium material, because this by themselves are really good. Okay, Doc, how does it compare to your other audio equipments that you've been using thus far? This will definitely replace my budget IEMs, the SoundMagic E11C. It will definitely replace it. I still prefer my edifiers for relaxed listening and prolonged listening. I think my preference, again, this is just a personal preference, my preference would go to your studio monitors. I love listening for long times with that. It gives the sense of being in the studio, in the theater, in the orchestra, listening to the music. I love the soundstage of the Edifier S2000 Pro on my desk. And if I'm not able to use that, my SHP 9500 will still be my go-to headphones. I really love them. One of the best headphones that you can buy for the price point. You don't need to splurge much. That the price point of that headphones is, I think, a little bit under $100, and it's one of my favorite. Okay, but again, this is one fourth the price of the SHP 9500, and at one fourth the price, this delivers 80 to 90% of what I want to hear, which means a lot. So for those of you in a budget, starting out your audio venture, your audio hobby, I have tried a lot of budget earphones this past week. I've borrowed some budget earphones on the sub $25, $20 price point. And I must say, the Dolce holds its place well in that price point. It's really good for the price. I love listening to it. And you should really consider it if you're on the lookout for your first set of IEM at that price point. So thank you very much, guys, for listening. This is Talkie Dokie. This is my first audio content review. I hope this is not the last. I hope you find this review useful. See you on the next video.